What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com, and today we're going to look at the best RPO playbooks in college football 26. RPOs have been taking over football the last several years. I think defense is starting to catch up to it, but it doesn't mean you still can't have some fun with them, especially in this game. I'm going to cover about 7 or so. These are the ones that simply have the most amount of RPOs. We're going to look at some playbooks from different styles, and you'll see a list right here of a bunch of other ones you can look at. Again, I'm only going to cover about 7. I had to stop somewhere. There are plenty of playbooks in this game that have like 40 plus RPOs. We're going to look at some that got close to like between 60 to 70, the real high end ones. So let's start off with the first one. We're going to look at Texas San Antonio, the Roadrunners. This is considered a power spread playbook. It's mostly shotgun, as you can see right here. Just plenty of 11 personnel. You can really spread them out with the various formations. You also got plenty of empty if you need it as well. You got some pistol in there as well, some two tight end looks. You even got a wildcat formation. But if you go over to play type and you go to RPO, we have 58 RPOs in this playbook. We got 16 reads. Now, whenever you see the words read, peek, alert, you can take those with a grain of salt. It really just kind of comes down to which routes and schemes you're going after. If you need bubbles, if you need flats, as you can see here in the read section, you got plenty of tight end flats. You got some shock, alert looking type of routes. You go over to the peaks, we got 16 of these. These are more simplified. A lot of these are like backside slot slants and digs, just kind of things of that nature. Then you got some to look exactly like a read, like that motion RPO alert bubble. You got a Y pop if you need it as well. Then you head over to the alerts. We got 26 of these. This is where the most of your work will come from. Plenty of bubbles, basic alerts, some outs. Those are usually my favorite. But any type of way to get the ball to your top receivers, I'm all for, especially like something like RPO alert buck. That is a gap scheme, but there's a good chance that top receiver is the one who's going to be getting the ball there. So those are come in handy, to say the least. Anyway, 58 total RPOs in this playbook. It'll be a really good one for you to use. Next up, we have the Power Spread Alternate Playbook. Never neglect the alternate playbooks. We're going to look at a couple of them in this video, starting with this one. Power Spread, it's pretty much a lot of shotgun. Should have plenty of gap scheme, a lot of power and counter, things of that nature. As you see here, we got plenty of shotgun formations, your typical stuff. You know, these are really good base, beginner type playbooks. Plenty of pistol in this one. As you see here, we got a lot of pistol compared to the previous playbook we just looked at. Some bigger formations. You can spread them out a little bit more if you need to. So if you need a nice mix of gun and pistol, there it is. We got a wishbone formation, and we even got a wildcat formation. But if you go over to play type, and you can look at concepts as well. You can go over to concept and then option, and those are your RPOs over there. But if you go over to play type, RPOs, we have 58 of these. Starting off, here are all your reads. You got 9 of them. Some bubbles, some shock, some Y flat. And then we go over to peak. We got a lot of backside posts, some glance, 15 total of these right here. You got a Y pop, and you got some read bubbles and things of that nature. And then the bulk of it's going to be the alerts. A lot of these are going to look pretty similar to each other. Again, like front side posts and slants, some slot bubbles, alert outs. These are my particular favorite ones. They're just very pre-snap heavy, very simple to read. Thankfully, we got plenty of RPOs that there's a good chance one of your top 2 receivers will get the ball instead of always being like the slot receiver. So I really like that. But if you need a whole lot more alert than you would say of the peaks and the reads, then this will be a really good playbook for you, especially if you just want to run power spread. You just don't know which team playbook to use. Use the alternate playbook. I think you can't go wrong with it. Next up, we have the Mississippi State Veer and Shoot playbook. Now, I think in the game when you're in dynasty mode, it says it's power spread, but no, this is the Jeff Levy offense. It is good as pure of a Veer and Shoot playbook as you can get, but it's got some extra stuff built into it as well. It's not all wide formations. As you see here with shotgun, we got a split Y offset, doubles Y off, and then you get into some plenty of your Veer and Shoot formations, the wide formations, but you got a tight Y off, you got a stack halfback weak. So if you like a good mix of both veer and shoot formations and some extra things as well, this will be a really good playbook for you. But notice most of it's going to be the wide formations, but you got a basic empty tray stack if you needed it. You go over to pistol, we got 2 formations. We got strong and we got deuce. So if you need a little bit of pistol with your veer and shoot, There you go. But let's head over to the play types. Let's talk about the RPOs. We got 58 of these. We got 13 reads, a lot of Y flats. Tennessee, I'm a big Tennessee fan. We run veer and shoot, so we see a lot of this in our offense. We got some really good tight ends on our team. So that's a lot of Y flat there. You go to RPO peak, we got 10 of these. Got a little pre-snap motion in some of them. Basic bubbles or like a backside post or a slant, but we got 35 alerts. A lot of these are going to be hitches. So you see the RPO counter alert. Whenever you deal with veer and shoot playbooks, you're going to see more hitches than basic curls and other things. So you're going to see plenty of that. But you see, again, slot bubbles, slants. So you got some alert shocks. But look, more of those hitches. You just keep on going. It's just more alerts, more hitches, more slants, more bubbles. Again, this is a veer and shoot playbook, so expect plenty of that. Don't expect any alert outs. This is where all your alert outs would be, but are not going to, because when 90% of your playbook is spreading out the defense very far with those wide formations, there's no room to run any out routes. So kind of keep that in mind. But again, if you need plenty of RPOs in your veer and shoot playbook, this is by far the best of the bunch. Next up, we have the UCF spread playbook. Central Florida, Scott Frost, he is back in Orlando, and he's got a pretty fun playbook to play with. I do want to point out, now this is a spread playbook, so expect plenty of shotgun, as you see right here. But we also got some pistol. We got about 4 formations there, like strong, weak, Y over, then another over, Y off, which is pretty neat. But we also got a good collection of single back, bunch tight end, bunch X nasty, deuce close, U off stack, wing slot, just some really cool things. So if you like that combination of things along with a bunch of RPOs, you definitely want to check those out. One other thing I want to point out before we head over to the RPOs, I want to talk about play action. This one has an inordinate amount of play action plays. We got 91 play action plays in this one. So you do a lot of running. You'll do basic play action on top of that. But I know this video is all about RPOs, but I just wanted to point out a lot of RPOs look a lot like play action. So if you love that look of the play action and the RPO, you probably can't go wrong with this one. This may be the best in the entire game with a combination of all of this play action and RPO. Speaking of, we got 59 RPOs. Let's go over here. We got 20 reads. A lot of cool, fun motion to look at, as you can see right here with some slot motion. You got some alerts, some bubbles, more bubbles. That read Z spot is quite interesting. Most of these RPOs have like barely 2 reads. This one has 4, technically, if you want to count the halfback built in there. So 20 reads if you're a read guy. You also got one out of pistol, by the way. You got a pistol trips Y over off. We got 16 peaks. Again, these are a lot of your just backside slants and digs. Really hardcore stuff like right here. Peak and slant, notice the run blocking. It is gap scheme related. So kind of keep that in mind when you're running and selecting your RPOs. But let's head over to the RPO alerts. We got 23 of these. You got basic bubbles, some shock, more bubble, more bubble. You got some alerts. You even got some hitches built in there, even though it's not a veer and shoot playbook. I didn't see any alert outs. If you're a big alert out fan, you probably don't want to pick this playbook. But it's got a good collection. It's got a great balance of the 3, if that's your thing. So 20 reads, 16 peaks, and 23 alerts. So having all of that, along with all that play action I talked about earlier, it's just a good combination of those 2 things, along with all those fun formations we looked at, with plenty of shotgun, pistol, and single back. Next up, we have the spread alternate playbook. Like I said earlier, with the power spread alternate playbook, you can't go wrong with these alternates. They are just good beginner. It just tells you exactly what a playbook or a scheme is all about. And this one is no different. It's going to have mostly shotgun, as you see right here. Plenty of good stuff, a lot of true spread sets. Even if you got a tight end out there, you are getting those guys away from that offensive line. Just notice just a lot of great things in there. We got a little bit of pistol as well, just a couple formations, a Y-off trips, and a spread, and that's it. So again, like 88% of it is shotgun. But let's talk about the RPOs. Let's go to play type. We got 62 of these. We got 12 reads, some cool wheel combinations. I like some of that. You notice we got some RPOs built in there, or orbit motion built in. We got some bubbles, some alerts, even though, again, a lot of these may look like an alert, but some of them, the game calls it a read for whatever reason. You look at peaks, we got 18 of these. We got some RPO stick, which is pretty neat. backside slants and posts. There's some more of that orbit that we talked about earlier. A lot of pulling plays. Again, look at that peak orbit swing and peak buck slant. Again, that is gap scheme stuff. Pretty cool. There's a peak post. There's a peak slant. Another peak slant. But 18 of these, if that's your thing. And then we got 32 alerts. Starting off out of the gate, we got a double alert out, which is pretty cool with your outside receivers, your number 2 or number 1 and 2 guys. Keep on going. There's another alert out. This is the interesting one, RPO alert, halfback flat. It's got the gun duo, the go-go formations are in this one, so just kind of keep that in mind as you go through here. But it's got plenty of fun motion built in, as you can tell. A lot of variety here for a typical alternate playbook. A lot of these are kind of dumbed down. This one, I don't think as much. I think you can have a lot of fun this one. So if you need that good combination of all those RPOs, but pretty much want to stick to the shotgun, but if you need a mix of some interesting formations like gun duo, then you can't go wrong with the spread alternate playbook. Next up, we have the SMU spread playbook. Rhett Lashley, I think he's a really good coach. He's done some really good things down there. It wouldn't shock me if he becomes like the next coach at Arkansas after this season. We'll see what happens with that. But this is a really fun playbook. It's a very good spread them out. It's got a Gus Malzahn feel to it because he comes from that coaching tree. It's got plenty of shotgun. It's got plenty of that slot left, slot right. That is, again, more Gus Malzahn stuff built in. It even has a wide formation, some veer and shoot if you need it right there. But notice how truly spread this thing is. It really spreads you out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 9 formations that really spread everybody off the offensive line, which I really like. It's got a little bit of pistol, got wing slot, and it got strong slot open. You even got an I formation. But let's talk about the RPOs. We got 65 of them. Starting off, RPO read, plenty of Y flats, some bubbles, some, I call them alerts with those little flanker screens, more bubbles. And when I say shock, a shock is technically a slot receiver running a fade with an outside guy running a hitch. Technically, when you combine the two, you get that type of look with the hitch / fade. That's why I still kind of call it shock. That's just my verbiage. But you go to RPO peak, we got 16 of these. We got RPO peaks and orbits, which is pretty cool. We've already seen some of those and some other playbooks, some backside posts and slants, plenty of that stuff if you like that type of RPO. But we got 38 alert outs, or alert, just an absolute ton. We got alert out there. We got some smoke, more alert out. More alert out. This will probably be the one I would use a whole lot just because I'm a big alert out fan. But I love all this pre-snap motion, really fun stuff. Plenty of alerts, just quick screens to your 2 best receivers. Always a big fan of that. It just goes on and on. You even got one from Pistol if you need it as well. You actually got a couple other RPOs from Pistol. You don't see that too often. You even have an RPO from that I formation, that I form tight, which I think is pretty neat, hitting that backside tight end. So if you just like that combination of just a good spread playbook, it's got plenty of RPOs. If you need some of that Gus Malzahn formation stuff built in, along with, you know, here's the Gus Malzahn stuff, along with the spread looks, especially like the gun wide, and really spread them out like 5 wide and empty quads, you cannot go wrong with this playbook. Last but not least, we have the Texas spread playbook. Steve Sarkisian. Surprise, surprise. We all know this is the best RPO playbook in the game, at least the one that has the most. It also has an absolute boatload of motion plays. You expect a lot of motion RPOs. You can go over here to like my favorites. I've already highlighted every single one of them, 115 motion plays. I mean, you just an absolute ton. But you go back to your formations, most of it's going to be shotgun. It's got some cool things in it. This is a blue blood playbook, so it's going to have a little extra attention paid to it in terms of some of the plays, really unique things built in. It's got a little bit of pistol if you need it, and we got an I formation. We even got a full house formation. But let's talk about the RPOs. Let's go to play type. Let's go to RPO. We got 72. Again, this is the highest amount of any playbook in the game. We got 11 reads, a lot of Y flat, a lot of tight end love, as you can see with a lot of these plays. We got an RPO read Y flat. That's a pretty cool looking play with that. I guess that's the Z receiver going in motion behind the quarterback. You're pretty much running a wheel, but still a Y flat in the end. Then you got a jet sweep RPO. You head over to the peaks. We got 25 of these. If you like that backside slant or post, you got more than what you would ever need. I can't imagine any of the playbook having more peaks than this one. 25 is a really high amount. Then we got 36 alerts. A lot of fun things in here. Again, notice all this fun motion a lot of comeback type stuff, plenty of alert outs, but plenty of bubbles. I think they do a really good job with this playbook in getting the ball to your top 2 receivers, especially like this RPO alert bubble that's meant to go to your number 1 guy. The motion bubble, same thing. All 3 of these RPOs are meant to go to your number 1 wide receiver, as opposed to something as simple and basic as that basic RPO alert bubble in the middle from gun normal Y off week. I just appreciate that. I want to get the ball to my best receivers. Normally, it's the number 1 and number 2 guy. So having 72 RPOs with all this motion, and especially if you need to get a little bit bulkier in your formations, with I formation, full house, and some of the 2 tight end looks, this is by far the best RPO playbook in the game, and I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.